Well, the planning starts months before it's even cast. I was already looking at, like I said, different costume choices and what direction we wanted to go with each character. Once it's cast, then the next thing we do is at orientation, the cast comes in and we take all their measurements. I put together a costume plot with each actor, their name, their character they're playing, all the parts they're playing. In this case, some people are playing 4 and 5 characters. And I, again, go over that costume plot, what I want for each type of character, and then I give that to Chico State, and they take those measurements and what we're looking for, and they try to build a costume plot that works for both of us. Well, there's a lot of things involved in preparing for Les Mis. The first thing that I personally do, as soon as I find out a show that we're going to be doing, I instantly start doing research on it. Start researching the time period, start researching what other companies have done, how they've done costumes. One of the things with Les Mis that's a little unique right now is the fact that a lot of people have really different expectations. Some people have seen the stage play, but a lot of people have only ever seen the movie. And if you look at those two different genres, you're looking at 2 very different looks in some ways. In talking with Bob, we really wanted to go with more of the style of the 10th anniversary version of Les Mis. And so I start figuring out what I want each character to look like. And once I have that figured out, I contact Chico State. We're renting the bulk of our costumes from Chico State for Les Mis, which is really great because it's going to be over 150 costumes and all the pieces that go with it. So we're renting a lot of it, and then I will be sewing the rest of it once we find out what we're going to be able to get from them. So we let Chico State know this is kind of the look that we're looking for, this is what we're shooting at. And then they start pulling costumes, and I've gone in a few times and they show us what they've got, and we look to see if they're on track with what we're looking for, and they're doing a fantastic job. The costumes are just turning out amazing, and I'm so excited about what they're doing. And then the real work begins after I bring all those costumes back to CRT.
Well, originally I would, you have to research patterns. It's
Right.
not just looking at pictures. So it's this kind of thing that you're learning about, how to draft. Because period patterns aren't drafted the same as, you can.
Right.
There are some pattern companies, and most of these things, this is how you get silhouette. But you also have to build the underwear before you can build the dress, because the silhouette is made by the understructure.
Right.
So there is a understanding the corsetry and the petticoating and the hoops and the things that we already talked about. All are part of. Now I build a dress over it, but to build a dress to fit a soft body, it's not going to be the same. It's not going to look period. It's not going to be period. So you have to do. I mean, here's a nice picture of the silhouette changes. But the Janet Arnolds are the kind of the premier study on period pattern making. And I also do this with the men's clothing and the tailcoats, and everything is really specific to what was iconic for that time.
Right.
So there's subtle things you probably aren't aware of that people don't see, but unless you go into
Right.
complete detail. But it's what overall is going to give you a authentic look.
Right.
If you cut too many corners, you know what it looks like, and it don't look authentic.
Right.
I wanted to show you some of the
Okay.
indications. So here we have the umpire look in the women's silhouette.
Okay.
So here's where your starting point is.
Okay.
So you'll notice that we gave you a lot of straight sleeves and high necks for the poor people and things like that.
Okay.
as you move forward in the period, for the women, the waist starts to drop and the sleeves get bigger. So that's one thing you'll notice in dropping again, more ornate.
Yeah, and well, you
This
can see
is,
the
yeah,
shoulders starting
and
to
where
open
we
up.
end is somewhere just past, well, this is
Yeah.
37, and
Right.
we're in 35 or 36. So
Mhm.
it's this silhouette for your wedding between here and there.
So we mostly did a lot of the fuller sleeves. It's kind of where we kind of stuck to that fuller sleeve and
Okay.
the waist lower than the
Right,
empire
right,
waist.
right.
Because it was a little bit later in the period, and these are all more upper class. They're acquaintances with Marius and Cosette, and they are a little bit upper class, less than the poor people. So
Okay,
we went with the poor people. They're usually a little bit behind, so here we stayed really in the period with this kind of waist. Even a little bit of the point is very in the period, and that fuller sleeves, lots of lace.
And this is a wedding. This is for the wedding,
Yes,
right?
these
This
are
is
all for the
Okay.
wedding. They're very distinct from all the other looks that you can
Just
see.
show her the wedding dress.
And this is
The lovely
this wedding dress.
And this one is really true to period, right?
This
It
is this is probably
That's the veil and some gloves and.
the veil.
Okay.
Cosette's wedding dress. Again with the waist right a little bit lower than the empire waist with the fuller sleeves and some lace decoration.
Good.
And those kind of decorative qualities.
Good. Now, is this right here, is this for the wedding as well?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yes.
And now, so these will have hoops under them.
We are giving you some hoops,
Right.
but you will need to
Right,
get
okay.
hoops. Yeah.
But we do want to put hoops
We
under
don't
all of
have
them.
enough hoops. Well, again, the hoop, this isn't antebellum, it isn't
Right,
the king and
right,
I.
right,
It's,
right.
it's fuller out from the waist
Right.
and then down.
Right,
So
right.
somewhat of a hoop, but not much.
Okay.
You know, this silhouette over here
This is
is
Cosette's.
Cosette's day dress when she meets Marius. So this is as full of a silhouette as you'll want, even
Okay.
at your wedding.
Okay, okay.
In fact, the hoop should be bigger through
Out a little bit
here.
towards it,
It
okay.
should bell and then go down.
And we can
That-
adjust the hoops to make them a little
You can
wider
move
up
the
here.
bones around.
Okay.
In some hoops, the ones that you'll buy, you are very easy to bend.
Okay.
I just push them together and then
Okay,
safety pin them, and then they're good to go.
okay,
Yeah,
okay.
they're really easy to do.
Oh,
And then
So for the prostitutes, they're, like Sandy said earlier, they're more concerned about getting everything off than on. So when it comes to like the articles of clothing, it's more minimal.
Underwear.
Yes, it's more underwear. It's very just simple with there's just the bloomers, some people have bodices, some people
Okay.
don't have bodices, some
Okay.
people have these are cinch waists, along with like the more peasanty kind of underblouses
Right, okay.
and rags, and they're a little bit more eclectic than the rest of the characters
Right,
because they're
right.
kind of out there showcasing themselves more than
Right,
anything.
it's the irony of
Yeah.
being a lovely lady.
Right.
Because if you think about what happens to Fantine, the level that she's had to have her hair shaved and lose her teeth to make money. This is how these women make money.
Right, right, right.
So they're not looking too pretty, really. Yeah.
And these are all lovely ladies.
Yeah, here's a fun little.
Yeah.
These
I
are
love
really
the little
cool.
black hat over there.
These little things like
Yeah.
this are like
Right.
just
And
kind
that's a
of.
lovely lady too. This hat
This
right here.
this is the lovely lady
I love
right
it.
here.
They're all very unique.
Yeah.
Yeah. So she's just going to start out in the gray dress and have
Right, in the
the
factory.
exact same factory thing that the other girls are. They're all the same pretty much. So this would be another factory worker,
Right.
and this is another factory worker,
Okay.
so on and so forth. And they all have the same apron and scarves.
Right,
So
okay.
we took all these up.
Right. To give
So
them
they'll be
umpire waist.
umpire waist. So they go on like this.
Great.
So that's how she'll start. And then to
That
do
around her
this, you want to do, well, let's see, how do we want to do this? You know, we just tie it and then roll it
Tuck in.
back,
Okay.
you know, and then they all have, also, that's also going to be a big brushstroke, is that, you know, the head stuff is
Or slightly
different for the
different,
other,
right.
the other characters.
Okay.
So then you move into, we have a couple of straw hats, mop hats, things like that for farmers.
Okay.
Different aprons,
Right.
maybe some jackets and things like that,
Right.
just levels of change.
Okay.
And then some of them are in the same dresses, some of them have more than one option. You know, in Fantine, this, she has to take this off on stage.
Mm-hmm.
So what she has underneath is this will be her prostitute, so it's also her chemise.
Okay.
But we're gonna dip this down.
Okay.
So this is her prostitute look, and you know, and then she can add the shawl to that.
Okay.
So that can be worn underneath. She takes that off, gets her head shaved, blah blah blah.
These are the kids.
Yes, these are the kids right here. Little Cosette is right here. Little Cosette is, in that sense, she's the poorest of all the
Right,
children in
right.
anywhere in the show. So she doesn't even have the luxury of having
A
something
dress.
like a dress. She has, it's more of a nightgown.
Okay.
A little nightgown with a very, very raggedy lichen shawl and just a little apron and a mop cap, just very much just,
Poor,
she is
rags.
poor, she is not treated as well as the other, and then
Okay.
and contrary to her, at the same time is young Eponine, who is treated like a queen by her parents, and she has,
This might not fit her. It's right at her size right now.
yes.
Might be a little too small.
It might be too small when you get to the, you know, kids just grow. I
Right,
know how
right.
it is. So but that is the
Yeah.
best option we have for her.
Okay.
So that might be something
Okay.
you'll
But
have to
something
look
along
forward,
these
you know.
lines.
Okay.
With
And
a
she'll have a bonnet.
Okay.
There's a bonnet somewhere.
And then these are Gavroche's gang. These other.
Oh yeah, all the little boys. They're a little bit more raggedy. You know,
Right.
they're
Okay.
trying to.
They're living on the streets.
They're living on the streets. Gavroche though he kind of sticks out a little bit more. So his parents are obviously very eclectic. So
Right,
we
right.
kind of tried to stick
Well,
with a
and
little
the
bit brighter
brighter,
colors.
right.
And compare. Most of the men, when we first see them, they're all the convicts. We really give them a lot of muted tones in the coloring. Nothing too bright for the
Right.
when they first become prisoners. Some of them, everyone's a little bit different. This one is a prisoner. This is Jean Valjean as a prisoner.
Okay.
So all of them have a little bit something different, but kind of the same general thing with breech, some very raggedy, distressed breeches. Some of them
Okay.
have belts. You know, Jean Valjean, I believe is the only one who has gloves out of all the other men.
Okay.
But
Okay. Can you show us one of his, like, when he is wealthy?
when
and-
he's older.
Yeah.
So we actually have a couple options for that.
Okay.
This,
Well, there's a progression.
there's a progression of wealth,
Right.
and then him
And
coming
whether or not he has
into
time
it
to
and then
change.
coming out of it.
Right. Okay.
So this is one of the. We'll actually show you the wealthiest one.
Yeah, there's a progression that he
Yeah.
gets to where this would be his, you know, most wealthy
Okay.
here. And then he has there's also a frock, which could be
Good.
that.
Good.
And we have the Inverness overcoat. And I have a tall black stovepipe,
Okay.
if we want to use that,
Yeah,
if
that'd
it
be
fits him, but I need
Okay.
head sizes.
Okay.
I think that's something you can think about later.
Okay.
But yes, so this is nicer, and then in
Options.
contrast to that, so you have
Paris or whatever.
Just
and
kind of
then-
Paris when he's kind of laying low. You
Mhm.
have a little bit more of like the natural tones rather than just like the black and white with like the
Mhm,
nicer
mhm.
brocades and such. And his very last look, he's in the nightgown with the shawl and
Right.
he's saying goodbye. And
Okay.
yeah, so
Okay.
yeah. But here's another example of the convict
Okay.
right here. And with some of these, we actually have some things that transition over.
Right. Like
from one place-
pants and.
Yeah, so like
Right.
these, they're, as you can see, like the top part is a little bit more really distressed.
Right.
So this can transfer over to farm worker. I
Right.
believe we gave you other option. We gave you another option for that, if depending on changing time,
Okay.
with suspenders and all,
Okay.
as well as some different cravats,
Okay.
some jackets. Yes, because he is a farm worker, factory worker, farm laborer. Those are also things that can change with hats and
Okay,
cravats,
okay.
and whether he has a jacket on or a jacket
Okay.
off, things like that. Then
That way it's not cookie cutter.
Right.
That's
yeah,
what
right.
you want to really
Avoid.
kind of avoid is
Right.
there's all different levels in the
Everything's exactly
society
right.
like this. Yeah.
Okay.
And
Most of
same
it's
with
for-
Finardi's gang, because he's also that. It's kind of that same general
All right.
kind of the pants with the, and then it just all
Think
changes
indoors,
those
outdoors.
things.
Right.
You know, farm laborers, more clothing, hats.
Right.
So here is our lovely Mr. So this is his very first look. It's very kooky, as you can see. He's got the bright yellow, the green,
Okay.
the kind of, like Sandy said before, because he's kind of paid in clothing.
Right.
So he's obviously been collecting these
Eclectic,
things.
right,
So
right, right.
he's kind of, he collected this from maybe like a military person at
Right.
one point who owed him a debt, and you
It
know,
also puts him
different
above
things
everyone
and-
else in his game.
Right.
It
Yeah.
gives him his authority,
Right. Right.
so to speak.
And these will maybe, you know, like they may be a little short,
But that's okay.
but that's okay.
Okay. I love
So
it. Love
that-
it.
That's pretty crazy.
Yep. So this is, yes, and he's wearing the same cream pants.
Cream pants
Yep,
with that.
with this
Okay,
with this
okay.
look, as she, and then she has a full change from
knows?
this, and then
Yeah.
this is her first look right here. Is she's got the corset with the cream, and then this goes on underneath.
Right. Right.
And then this, and then we
Oh,
can throw an
I
apron
love
on
that
that
skirt.
too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, we
like
So
go
that
on
this goes, if you put this with, again, they're gonna pop with his. You know, he's got the green and the yellow and
Right.
the blue, and that's very,
I love it.
you know.
I love it.
So that'll really pop.
Oh my
Yeah.
goodness.
It's a great hat. So with this
I love
one
it.
right here,
So this is what
Oh,
it would look like.
I love it.
she's pretty disgusting. Yeah.
Oh, I love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. That is great.
She's quite kooky.
Yeah, I love it. I love the hat. That's probably going to be my favorite piece in the whole show. Is that hat? Honestly, if I had to pick my favorite part of being a costumer, it honestly would be when we get to the point that I'm working with the actors and I'm putting their costumes on them. That is by far my favorite part. I enjoy sewing. I enjoy organizing and getting everything ready. But when you see a character put on their costume for the first time, it doesn't just do something for me as a costumer to finally see that on a body, but it makes the actor's part come alive for them too. And costumes is always so exciting for the actors to finally, you know, I've already had people asking me, what's my Les Mis costume look like? You know, it's a big thing. It's part of what makes them their character. And so I love working. I love just the personal working with the actors, doing their fittings, doing their altering, and just seeing the excitement they have at becoming that person. That's by far my favorite part.